Good afternoon, Freedom Friends. This is Bee with Life Done Free. I spend the majority of my time trying to figure out ways on how to please tag. If you're interested in seeing how I cook creme brulee on a wood cook stove, come check it out. Good morning, Freedom Friends. This is Bee with Life Done Free. Today I am going to make Tag his creme brulee. He asked, and his wishes shall come true. So first things first, I need to get the wood stove up to temperature so that I can cook on it. Let me show you what I've got going on here. I have water heating up so I can put it inside of my pan when I go to bake. I put a nice piece of hedge. Right on top there so that I can get the oven up to temperature. And now I get to start making the custard. I have these little dishes that I'm going to use. They say custard cups on the bottom of them. So I'm going to use this to put the creme brulee in, and then I will put hot water into the pan around it to help cook them evenly. So I've got ingredients here to start. My recipe calls for 7 eggs, but as you can see, a couple of these are small, so I am going to use 8. See the size difference in those? I'm going to use 8 yolks. So I'll separate the yolks and the whites and put them in here and whisk them and get them ready. But first, before I do that, I'm going to heat up the cream part, which is 4 cups of heavy cream and 3/4 cup of sugar and a teaspoon of vanilla. And I'm going to use a saucepan because that's what I have. So these are already measured. Here's 2 cups. I've got 2 of these. Four cups of heavy whipping cream. And you want to heat this until the sugar is melted. You're not trying to boil this. And 3/4 cup of sugar. So just a measuring cup, 3/4 cups here. I'm going to heat this up, and then when I take it off of the stove is when I will add the vanilla to it. So we are going to put this on the stove. Actually, I'm going to put it on this side so that it heats, but I don't want it to boil. You don't want to scorch this. So let's go over and get the eggs ready. Next, I want to separate the egg yolks from the egg whites. And because these are farm fresh eggs, I crack every one into a bowl and then I put it into the bowl that I'm actually using, because I have had, in the past, I have had it to where I cracked an egg open and I didn't like what was inside. So I actually wasted the entire batch because I was cracking them directly into what I was cooking. Whoops. So there's the white, and actually I can just now I just use the shell to collect my yolk in, and I'm inspecting it, making sure that there is no weird stuff going on with the egg. The whites, you don't have to throw them away. You can use them into something else later. But you do not want the whites for this recipe. You only want the yolk. My eggs are fertilized. I have a roux, or several roosters. So I'm just getting off as much of the white as possible. And these whites you can actually put in the fridge and use for like an omelet or something tomorrow. Okay, so I am ready with the yolks. You're just breaking them open and getting it ready for your cream mixture. Let's go check on the cream. So here we are just mixing this up, getting it ready to go into the egg whites. Now with this recipe, it calls for one vanilla bean, but because I use my vanilla beans to make vanilla extract, I just use my homemade vanilla extract. Not sure what's going on. Okay, so I'm going to shimmy this over a bit. I don't want that to fall into my pan. Set it up there. Or not. Okay, now that I'm standing here. Okay, so we are trying to get this heated up. Trying to get the sugar on the bottom to dissolve into the cream. I'm gonna put it a little warmer. Just by moving it around here on the stove is what changes the temperature. I do not want to scorch this cream, so I'm trying to keep a close eye on it. I do think that all of the sugar is dissolved because I can't feel any on the bottom anymore here. Now when you go to add this cream to the egg yolks, you want to make sure to add just a tiny bit at a time so that you are not cooking the egg yolks with the hot cream. And I will show you that here shortly. I'm going to make sure that my oven temperature is gaining. I'm up to 300 degrees on my oven, which is what I want. Now I have that sugar dissolved. I'm going to add the vanilla, which this is my vanilla that I make. You want to shake it because it settles at the bottom. I'm adding 1 teaspoon of vanilla to my mixture. And give it a stir. You can see that the cream in there is moving around. It is hot. Okay. Now we are going to add this to the egg yolks. This is a fairly simple recipe, actually. Just a few extra steps to it by cooking it inside of a pan with water. Okay. Now, if you were using a vanilla bean, you would want to let it steep a little longer because the bean you'll get the beans out of the pod that way. Okay, so we're going to add it to this. This is my batter bowl that has a spout on it so that when I go to pour, I can pour a little easier. Okay, so this is basically just cream, vanilla, and sugar. I'm going to add it to my egg yolks. Actually, I'm going to do it this way, stirring while you do it so that you do not get you're not trying to cook the eggs. You're trying to bring them up to temperature where the cream is and not cooking the eggs with the temperature of the cream. Otherwise that will turn to scrambled eggs. And that would not be what we're looking for. So I'm just slowly adding the warm cream to the egg yolks. Just constantly stirring. And soon this will all be together and we will pour it into the ramekins or the custard cups. Here you can see what is going on. It is just the yolks are still liquid. They're not curdling. They're not cooking. And they are pretty warm. So I am just scooping from here and putting it into here. Scooping it from here and putting it into here. Now, if you are using a vanilla bean, you would need to strain this so that you did not get the pieces of the vanilla bean into your custard. This is all nice and hot now. Now my eggs were not cold when I started. They were room temperature. They were fresh straight from the coop. So I brought them in and washed them and then just used them. Now that this is warm, I can add this . Just like that. Now this is all it is. Now we are going to take this and pour it into our little cups. Starting with the littler ones first, so that if I need to not use the big ones, then I don't have to. Trying to fill them all about even so that they cook evenly. This will take Tag a few days to eat. Okay. Now I have to put hot water in this bottom pan, and I'm going to do that over at the stove so that I'm not carrying a pan of hot water back and forth. So let's go over and come to the stove. I'm going to set it up here on the top. This is hot. I grab my pot holders. Make some room over here on this cold area. Well, it's not cold, but it's cooler. This side of this oven, the stovetop, this side is cooler than this side over here. So if I need to set a plate down or something not too hot, I can set it over on this corner over here. Okay, here are the ramekins. I'm going to take one out so that when I pour the water in here, it's not going into the food. Take my hot water and put it into the pan. Careful not to pour any into the custard cups. Don't overfill it. Okay, so I make sure that there's no bubbles underneath my dishes. Add my last one in. And pop it into the oven. Push it all the way back. Close up my oven and get my fire going to make sure that my temperature stays at 300. Now you want to bake this for about 45 minutes. So I'm going to set my temperature, and I need to, since the door was open, the temp came down. Right now we are sitting at 250, and I have a piece of hedge in there. So I'm going to stir that around, and it will add a little bit of fuel to that as I stir it. See, when I rotated that log around, it created air in different places. So now if you look, just in that short a time, we are almost at 300. All right, so all right. So I will touch back with you in about 45 minutes. Hope it goes well. All right, guys, 45 minutes and the creme brulee is done. You can tell they're done because when you insert the toothpick, it comes out clean, yet they're still wobbly. Now time to take them, cool them off, and then I will put the sugar on and brulee the sugar straight out of the oven. All right, so these have to chill. I'm gonna take them out of the hot water, and I'm gonna set them outside underneath the grill, well, in the grill, underneath the lid, so that they cool off without heating or raising the temperature of my refrigerator. It is important to get these cool before you try to brulee the sugar on the top. That will help to set the custard. So, here's what they look like. Can't see it. So, here's what they look like. I'm gonna put them outside to chill.
Creme brulee! No way!
Video 3, I believe. Good afternoon, Freedom Friends. This is B with Life Done Free. I spend the majority of my time trying to figure out ways on how to please tag. I didn't shake my head.
Go ahead, just keep going.
Good afternoon, Freedom Friends. This is B with Life Done Free. I spend the majority of my time trying to figure out ways on how to please tag. If you're interested in figuring out, Good afternoon, Freedom Friends. This is B with Life Done Free. I spend the majority of my time trying to figure out how to